Welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. My name is Juliana, and today's Timeless Pick a Card reading is just a message that you need to hear right now. Whatever wants to come through, that's what we're tapping into, whatever it is that you most need to hear at this moment. And before we get into it, I just want to further introduce myself. I am a tarot reader. I offer personal readings on sunflowerphilosophy.com, and I work with my mom. We're both certified consulting hypnotists, and she does human design readings. So if you're interested in any of our services, you can check out that link in the description below. But let's just get straight to it. So if you're new here, I do a brief centering exercise at the beginning of these readings to help you just take a few minutes to tap into your intuition, take a moment to yourself, and really get relaxed. So if you want to stick around for that, please do. Of course, if you're driving or doing anything that requires your full concentration, skip that for now, come back to it later. But for those of you who want to skip ahead, for any reason, also the timestamps are always in the description and the pinned comment, so you can check those out and do as you please. But for those of you who are joining me for the brief centering exercise, let's get to it. All right, excellent. So this is a brief meditation to get you centered. So I want you to just take a moment to get yourself comfortable, and you can pause the video if you need to take a moment to get yourself into a comfortable position. Excellent. And now that you are comfortable, you may close your eyes and take a deep breath in and pause for a moment at the top of the breath. And then as you exhale, imagine any tension in your body and mind simply melting away. And imagine that with each subsequent exhale, you become more and more relaxed. Excellent. Simply set the intention that this short meditation will connect you with your intuition and continue to relax you as you listen to the sound of my voice and enjoy this peaceful moment to just be. And as you connect, you recognize that you easily connect with your intuition. You naturally know which messages are for you and effortlessly gravitate toward whichever group or groups carry messages that are aligned with your highest good in this moment. You trust yourself, and you know that you can access your intuition anytime you like, and you easily accept and integrate messages that are meant for you, and you easily pass by those messages that are simply not for you. You are now connecting with whatever group, whatever messages are for your highest good in this moment. And you know that whatever it is that you need to hear right now will be whatever is aligned with you, and you will easily and naturally be able to discern that which is for you and that which is not. You feel deeply at peace knowing this. And you know that your intuition is there for you at all times in your life. No matter what is going on around you, you can always reach back for that peace within, that knowing that aligns you with whatever next step is for you and whatever it is that you need to or want to be doing in any given moment. Take a moment to recognize that you are exactly who you're meant to be and exactly where you're meant to be. And trust yourself and recognize that you always have everything within you, all the tools necessary to live the best life possible. And there's nothing that you need to be or do or have to be the best version of you, because that version of you always exists, and you are that version of you right now. Thank you for being here. You are an amazing, lovely soul, and I'm so happy to be able to connect with you. And as you set the intention to connect deeply with your intuition, to choose your group, I set the intention to connect deeply with my intuition, to bring you the messages that align you with your highest self. And thank you for being here today and tuning in to this message. I appreciate sharing your energy, and just know that you are making a huge difference in so many people's lives and in the world around you just by being who you are. And if you would like to remain in meditation for a bit longer, feel free to pause this video and come back whenever you're ready for your message. But for those of you who are ready to move on to the group selection, I will be getting into that in just a moment. Okay, welcome to the group selection. Thank you if you joined me for the brief centering exercise. Thank you if you did not. Either way, I'm so happy to have you here. And as you can see, I have 3 groups in front of you. And as I mentioned in the intro, we are simply tapping into whatever messages you need to hear right now. I have 3 Astro Oracle cards out here, and I have 3 different kinds of astrology dice, and I just rolled a different one for each group because that's what I felt compelled to do. I actually reached into a bowl to pull out a stone, and I came out with a dice, and I thought, well, let me use this for this reading. So I will show you what's on each of the dice for each group, and then we'll get over into your reading. And yeah, let's get into it. So for group 1, we have this die that has the house numbers on it, and you got the 5th house. So the 5th house in astrology could be important for you, or the number 5 could be significant. But regardless, that is what you got for this blue die. And for group 2, we have the green die that has all the planets on them, and you have the sun showing up for group 2. And for group 3, you got the pink die with the astrological signs on them, and you got the sign of Aquarius. So take a moment to connect with your intuition, decide which group is for you. Doesn't matter if you choose based on the dice, the color, the house, the planet, the sign, whatever. It doesn't even have to be any of those things. Your intuition can tell you to choose any group that is aligned with you. So take all the time you need to decide. The timestamps are in the description. As always, feel free to pick more than one group. Feel free to pick a group, decide that's not for you, and pick a different one. Whatever it is that ends up being aligned with you, trust yourself, and just know that whatever messages are meant to find you today will find you one way or another. So with that being said, I'm so excited to get into this reading. So go down, pick your group, and I will see you over in your reading. Hi, group 1. If you selected the blue die with the 5th house on it, then you are in the right place, and this is your reading with a message that you need to hear right now. And so how we're going to do this is that I've pre-selected an Astro Oracle card for you. We'll talk about that and the dice that you got, the dice that I rolled ahead of time that I got the 5th house on, and we'll talk about how that relates to whatever's coming up for you right now, whatever message that you need to hear right now. And then we will use some tarot cards to get further messages. And at the end of the reading, I'll decide on a question to ask based on whatever it is that we talked about. And I will pull an Angel Answers card to answer that question. So yeah, we're just gonna see what comes up. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the Astro Oracle card that you got, group 1, is number 14, debilitated, with the keyword of discomfort. So right away, really interesting that you got 14, which simplifies in numerology to a 5, and your dice has your die is the plural, dice is the no. You know what? It doesn't matter. So you got a 5, you got the 5th house, and 14 simplifies to 5. So 5 is a very significant number for right now, for you right now. And so I'm actually drawn to talk about the numerological significance of the number 5, more so than the house significance, although we'll get into that in a bit. But I was really getting for you when number 5 came up with the when I rolled the dice, that the 5th house, or the number 5, is really centered on change. So I feel like a lot of people in this group are going through a lot of change right now, and or are being pulled to or know that they need to make some kind of change in their life. So either you're already going through a change, or you're feeling this tug, this pull to make a change. And it might not be the most comfortable kind of change, with debilitated coming out. I feel like when I'm looking at these staircases kind of looping around on this card, I'm getting a sense almost of like a maze, like confusion, like not knowing which way to go or which way to turn. feeling a little bit turned around maybe. I'm also getting like, if you're familiar with Harry Potter, in Hogwarts Castle, like the staircases move and stuff. So you could be like feeling like if you're like I'm getting like someone who's like on a staircase, like walking to a certain floor, and then all of a sudden the staircase moves and then they're redirected to a completely different floor, and you're like, well, that's not where I wanted to go. It's kind of like that. Like maybe there's been some kind of redirection happening in your life recently, and it's just like you're just like, wait, what? Like I thought I was going to one place and now I'm in a completely different place. And it feels a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit weird. But there is a sense that whatever is happening, whatever just got like the term like whatever you're growing through. So I feel like this discomfort is actually, it's like growing pains. It's like you're where you're meant to be, but it feels uncomfortable. So even if something did get like turned around or changed up for you and you weren't expecting it, it's not because you did something wrong. It's not because something's going wrong. It's because there's something that you're meant to grow into or learn, and this is the most direct way for you to do it. But it doesn't look like that to you. Like logically, to your logical mind, it wouldn't look like the most direct route, but it actually is. And part of that is because I feel like you are headed somewhere that you might not have like consciously chosen. Like you might not realize where it is that you're actually headed, or you are headed somewhere you consciously chose, but you thought the route to get there would be very different than what it actually is turning out to be. There's a lot of like, you gotta have faith and trust in the universe kind of thing. There's a lot of like divine plan stuff happening here. And especially if you're someone who's not as spiritually inclined, who doesn't have, I feel like some people in this group might be more religious. They might have like an idea of like God's plan or whatever, but I'm also feeling that there are people in this group who are kind of not that and don't have that kind of belief system, and so it might be hard for you to trust in this idea of divine planning and divine timing. Like totally get that. Totally understand where you're coming from. Because I feel like there are some people who there's upsides and downsides to being raised religious, and there are upsides and downsides to being raised non-religious, right? And it will vary based on people's individual experiences of those two things. But one potential upside of being raised religious is that if you are tapping into a spiritual path, you have some of that, like, well, depending on your religion, you might have some more foundation for example, faith and trust and things like that in a higher power that you can transfer. Even if you don't hold on to your religious beliefs, you can transfer that to your more spiritual beliefs, and you have that muscle that you can work. Whereas if you don't have that, you might not have as much religious baggage. You might not have as much potentially, you might not have been raised with as much sort of like strict rules or this idea that there's only like one certain right path or anything. So you might have more freedom in that sense, but you might also have a little bit of a harder time grasping the idea of like faith and planning and trusting in that kind of thing. Whether or not you believe that there ultimately is a higher power or a divine plan, I feel like that is a useful sometimes tool to use in order to move through the ups and downs and changes in life more gracefully and with a sense of this is going to be okay, right? And I feel like whatever your beliefs are, this is really, I didn't expect us to get kind of like deep philosophical like this early on in the reading, so this is interesting. I feel like you might be contending with some of your belief systems right now and really like picking them apart a bit. But like, yeah, whether you really believe in like a higher power, a God, the universe, whatever, or you're on the fence or you don't, I do feel like there's something to acknowledge in the usefulness of this idea of like being able to sort of relax into trusting the process, right? Trusting the way things are flowing. And you can see that as trusting yourself, trusting in life, trusting in God, trusting in the universe. It doesn't really matter, but this idea of trust is really important, especially through times of discomfort and change when you might not be able to see exactly where things are headed or how they're working out. But you kind of just have to trust that things are working out, so that when things start to make more sense again, when you start to understand, oh wait, that's my next step, that's the right way to go, you can make your moves more confidently, right? But either way, again, like I do feel like there's a sense of discomfort here, but it's not it's not because the important message here is it's not because you did anything wrong. You did not do anything wrong. I feel like that is a really important takeaway. I do want to also, because we talked about 5 really being about change, but I do want to talk briefly about the 5th house as well. In terms of the 5th house, it can be about like playfulness and fun. It can be romance, dating. It can be about your hobbies and creativity and just like enjoying being yourself. And so if any of those things also relate to like a major theme, like maybe there's a lot happening in your dating life or romance right now, there's a lot of change happening there, or maybe there's a lot of change happening in your creativity or your hobbies, that can be a sign for you that this is your reading and that this message pertains to that. But if not, I also feel like that is being like fun and creativity is being highlighted for you, like having a childlike joy and innocence when exploring whatever area of your life is undergoing the most change and is wherever you're experiencing the most discomfort. I feel like being able to engage with it from a more playful perspective can help ease some of that and help you flow more gently with whatever is going on if you can harness that energy. But with all that being said, I just shook the table, sorry. With all that being said, I'm going to pull some tarot cards now, and we're going to get some more information about what you need to hear right now, more messages for you. So, all right, let me shuffle these cards up, and as I'm shuffling them, I want to let you know, if you didn't hear earlier, that I usually say this at the end, but I'm going to say it now while I'm shuffling, actually, that I do offer personal tarot readings on sunflowerphilosophy.com. My mom and I are both tarot readers, but I tend to do this, I'm the one who's really taken charge of the YouTube channel here, but we're also both certified consulting hypnotists as well. So if you're interested in hypnosis, if you're interested in personal tarot readings, and my mom does human design readings, so if you're interested in any of that, you can check out our website at sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description. So just wanted to put that out there if you're enjoying this reading, or if you have anything that you want to go deeper with and work one-on-one with me on, or my mom. So let's now just get into your messages, group 1. So what else does group 1 need to hear right now? How can we elaborate on this message for group 1? What does group 1 need to hear right now? Please, Spirit. Group 1, please. Group 1. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll put that up right. The Fool. So, that makes sense. All right, let's get a few more cards. See how many more want to come out. All right, Death. Is that? Yeah, let's reverse. And 4 of Coins reverse. We'll leave those both reverse. The Fool, Death, and then let's get one more card, please. And then, is this upright or reversed? Because I kind of feel like, yeah, it's upright. All right. And 8 of Coins on the bottom of the deck. Okay. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. We've got the Fool, first of all. So I was just talking about with the 5th house, like childlike energy, like really feeling like you're exploring, like you're having fun, like you're enjoying life. And the Fool can be that kind of energy. And I also feel that message is coming back again, that like you didn't do anything wrong message, because I feel like the Fool has that double meaning here, because the Fool can be about foolishness, right? About feeling foolish, about making foolish decisions, but it can also be about like being playful, not being so guarded, not being so closed off to certain paths or certain ideas out of fear. And I feel like that is really the energy that we're harnessing. And I feel like you might be holding back a little bit in some way right now because you are afraid of looking foolish, or you're afraid that you already have been foolish. Like like, again, like, if things switched up on you all of a sudden in some area of your life and it's not going how you thought it would go, you might have that immediate reaction of, I did something wrong. And this is to let you know, no, you did not. You are not foolish. You did nothing wrong. This is what's meant to be happening in some way, shape, or form. So with the Fool here, it's both of those messages. It's like, you're not a fool, but you're meant to be the fool right now, to tap into that childlike, explorational, creative energy, to have some fun, basically. And I'm also getting the message of, like, not letting the discomfort cancel out the fun, right? Like, you can be both. You can be uncomfortable and you can be having fun at the same time, right? You can multitask, and I feel like you're meant to embrace the, like, multifaceted nature of experience in that respect. With Death and the Four of Coins, both reversed, both coming out together in the middle here, that to me speaks of a resistance to transformation and change, but yet you can't resist death. It is irresistible. It is something that you have to go through anyway. So with Death and the Four of Coins reversed, like, yeah, that's like that holding back energy, that resistance, that, like, that protective urge. Like, you want to protect yourself from the change. Ooh, you might be experiencing extra discomfort at this. Ooh, okay. This reminds me of something that my mom and I think we talked about it this morning. But the idea that sometimes when you start a new process, or, like, you start a new, like, workout regimen or diet or something to make you, well, I don't even want to talk about like, diets, really, like, but you do something that's meant to be good for you, meant to be good for your health, meant to be helping you, like, physically, mentally, whatever, spiritually. And at first, like, it's that, like, thing where it gets worse before it gets better. I feel like that might be what you're experiencing in some way, where you set out with the intention of, oh, okay, like, I'm going to do this thing because it's going to make me feel better, help me get better, help things improve. And at the start, it looks like things are getting worse because it didn't actually go in a linear, like, fashion where you thought, okay, like, it's just going to go up from here. It kind of went like, oh, like, it's like a little, you can't see what I'm doing. Like, it's like a line graph, you know, like, you were here and then it went here and then it went up here, 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 here. And so it's kind of been, it feels like it, like it got worse first than, as opposed to better. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. Yeah. And so it's because there's a part of you that is resistant to that change, as naturally our nervous systems tend to be, right? It's going into the unknown. When things are changing, it's unknown, and there's this inherent fear that can come up, this sort of fear of a threat, right? And so it feels like that has triggered you to kind of pull back or hold back or protect. And it's in response to this change that's happening. But that is, I feel like in your case, what is mostly causing discomfort here. It's that fear, it's that resistance within you. It's like the push and pull that's happening within you, the part of you that wants to move through the change and move forward, and the part of you that's resisting it and pulling it back. And for some of you, this is, like, maybe very easy to recognize in yourself, and for some of you, this might be a bit more subconscious, so it's almost like you feel like something's off or wrong, but you don't know why. And it's really because there's just this part of you that, like, even on a subconscious level is sort of, like, creating some obstacles or getting in your way. And the thing is, this change is inevitable. It's going to happen anyway. But being able to recognize where you're resisting it and to sort of soften into it more is going to help make things a lot more comfortable. And that's where, like, the playful energy comes in. The idea of, like, setting the intention to have fun, to enjoy something, even if there's part of you that is not so sure that you're going to enjoy it, right? It's actively cultivating that ability to enjoy things inside of you without completely giving into the part of you that's trying to protect you and putting barriers in your way by saying, this is not safe, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It's like that part of you is necessary and there for a reason, but it's not meant to run your whole life. It's meant to be there in the instance, in the moment where you're meant to, move out of the way of like a moving vehicle or something, right? Like that, right? Like to jump out of the way of something and run from something when you need to, like, your fight or flight response. It's not meant to control and dictate every aspect of your life constantly and have you constantly on edge and looking for threats. And so I feel like a bit of that in your system has been triggered by whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're trying to change. And I feel like for a lot of you, like, this is an intentional change that you wanted to make, and so you're a little bit confused as to why suddenly you're not comfortable with it, or suddenly you're like, no, wait, what? Like pulling back. Because you actively want this. I feel like it was triggered by like an intentional move that you made towards some kind of goal, or something that you thought would improve your life that just like didn't quite immediately help. Like, and it's almost like you have to push through that discomfort to feel that relief and that improvement on the other side. Your system needs to learn that it's safe in this new environment, in this new way of being. And there also might be, for some people, if this resonates, like a sort of a moment where like almost like the toxins or the things need to rise up and like come out of your system, like become like, it's almost like in the process of them like being removed, that they have to like rise up, and it feels like they're getting worse before they get better, and then they come out. And that could be like energetically. I guess for some people it could be like literally physically, but of course if you are going through any like medical things or anything, I mean, medical, mental health, whatever, definitely, like, if you're having symptoms of things that you're like nervous about, check with a professional, check with a doctor, check with a professional. Use your own discernment in terms of what's going on with your body as well, because if something's wrong, you'll know, and you are connected, you best, so definitely do what you feel is best. But just know that that could be part of the process as well, that things could feel worse before they feel better. And that could be a natural part of the process, but that doesn't mean that there aren't things that you can do to help ease the discomfort and help ease your way through this change. And I do feel like once you recognize this, and also once you get through like this particular hump in this journey, you are going to see like fast, rapid change. Like the Eight of Wands is going to come through and just like change everything. And you will ultimately either see the results that you were originally looking for, or get results that you weren't expecting but are actually more aligned with what you want. And it's going to come through very fast. But I feel like there might be, or might have been, and this could be like recent past energy or like present energy that's ending for you, like this resistance to the change. Like you might have gone through some like a process that's like been dragging for a while. And I feel like if you're recognizing yourself in this message and you feel like you've kind of processed through a lot of this already and you already knew this, then this Eight of Wands is coming very soon, because it's almost like you're at the end of this resistance, at the end of this discomfort, and then it's going to, like, things are going to take off. Like, what you were hoping to happen will happen, or things are going to move in a direction that feels good, feels right, and you're going to realize, oh, okay, like, this has been working out the whole time. And I feel like for a lot of you as well, with the Eight of Coins being on the bottom of the deck, I want to say that I feel like whatever this is that has felt uncomfortable for you, I do feel like you have been putting a lot of focus and a lot of hard work into this. And I don't think that you have to work hard and like work has to be hard in order for it to be worth it and for it to pay off. But I feel like in this case, like you have like, I heard like you've had your nose to the grindstone, like you've really been like in it, like you've been really putting in the work that you need to put in. And I want to say that you've done really well, and that if it feels natural to continue working at the pace that you've been working, that's great. But I want to stress that you don't need to work harder, you don't need to do more. If you've been really hard on yourself, because again, there's this feeling of things not quite working out the way that you expected them to, the answer is not to work harder. I just heard work smarter. So there might be some ways where you can actually take like some things off your plate and actually get where you're going faster. So that's something to keep in mind. Like if you realize, you know what, I've been doing this certain thing this one way that takes a lot of time and is really consuming of my energy, and there are faster ways to do it that are aligned with me, like, yes, this is your sign to take those faster ways, but also this is your sign that you've done enough work, you've done the work, you don't need to work harder to make this work. You don't need to do anything to make this work, I guess. Like, the universe knows and sees and understands the work that you've put in. You've been focusing on the right things. You've been doing what you need to do. Again, there's just some discomfort that comes along with this that I feel like is related to change, to things being removed from your system, from your subconscious, from your experience, that need to be removed in order for the outcome that you want to happen to occur. And so you feeling uncomfortable is not, again, it's not a sign that things are going wrong. It's not at all. It's like a sign that actually things are moving. And sometimes when things move, part of us isn't super comfortable with it. Again, like, if you can sort of learn to relax into that discomfort, if you can learn to relax into confusion and learn that confusion is not the enemy, uncertainty is not a bad thing, and is not a sign that you're in the wrong place and or anything like that. And if you can learn to be a bit more playful with that journey, with the ebb and flow of the universe, with the ups and downs of change, that will just make your journey a lot smoother. And again, like, things are about to pop off if they have not been popping off lately in whatever area of life that this is talking about, maybe even in general in your life. And clarity, with that clarity and satisfaction, I do feel are on the way. Like, the movement is happening. And for some of you, I want to add that perhaps things did pop off in a certain way. Maybe there was a way in which things actually worked out better and faster than you expected them to when you initiated some kind of new journey or change. And that is causing some of this discomfort. And you're like, whoa, I thought I wanted this thing, but now that it's happening, I'm actually like there's part of you that's like, whoa, pump the brakes, I'm scared, you know what I mean? And for those of you who are experiencing that, because I was getting like a message for those of you who maybe like feel like you got derailed or things are just like slowing down or not going in the right direction, like that they will very soon. But for those of you who like feel like things did pop off and you're actually more just like, whoa, like I wasn't prepared for all of that, it's still kind of the same thing. It's just in a different order. And so for you guys, it's almost like your discomfort is around the fact that like, oh, like I initiated this change and it's actually changing in the way I wanted it to. And now I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen so fast. And if that's the case, it's totally natural, again, to feel some resistance and discomfort to change, to have part of you be like, whoa, I am not used, I kind of thought this wouldn't work as well as it did. And now that it did work, I'm not, whoa, this is threatening to me. And there is, again, that urging to recognize that for what it is, to have compassion for that part of you that wants to hold back and wants to reel it in and wants to slow down, and to again engage with trust, to engage with a more childlike, playful attitude towards these moments of uncertainty and doubt and like, oh, do I deserve this? Oh, is this going to keep working out? When's the other shoe going to drop? And to release some of that and to embrace like the Fool energy, right? Again, like the beautiful thing about the Fool is that the Fool is open to all kinds of things that whatever the opposite of the Fool is not open to, because the Fool doesn't have these expectations of pain and that could also be another thing, is that maybe you feel like you were the Fool going into this because you didn't anticipate some of the things that came up as a result of like your actions, like the changes that you're making being successful. Like you were like, I just want this thing and I'm going to go for it. And then you didn't anticipate like some of the things that came up that are like, wait, I don't actually like this. And you're not a fool for that. You know, that's just life sometimes. Things come up that we didn't expect, that we didn't prepare for, because we're not meant to live life constantly preparing for possibilities that will be difficult or painful, because that in and of itself is a really difficult and painful existence, you know? It's okay to be in the moment and to realize, oh, I don't know how to handle this, but as you continue to develop trust in yourself and the universe, you will be able to move through things and handle them and be surprised at how well you handle things in the moment. Again, like, your protective system is not meant to be constantly looking out for threats. It's meant to be in the moment, like, oh, here's how we handle this. Oh, we need to move away from this now. We need to run away from that. That's not good. That's not good. In the moment that it's happening, not anticipating everything, like, at every given moment. Like, if you need to anticipate something, it'll come up, but it won't be this lingering, like, anxiety, this lingering fear. And so you don't need to have, I'm just saying, like, you don't need to be mad at your past self for not anticipating this. And whatever it is that came up as a result of this change that you thought was going to be so positive, that doesn't feel so positive, is not a sign that you're on the wrong path or that you did anything wrong. There is an element of, again, like, realizing that there's change involves uncertainty. It involves things that you don't know happening. And you just have to accept that the experience at the end of the day is worth that. And it's worth exploring. And don't regret an experience just because it didn't turn out in the way that you might have thought it would, or just because there were things you didn't expect about it. Because, like, how were you supposed to expect? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, don't be so hard on yourself about that. Like, there's so much urging to be cynical in this world, to hold yourself back and not go for it because you don't want to look silly, or, oh, fame isn't worth it because of this X, Y, and Z, or if you do this, oh, I thought I would love this career and I hate it, and other people telling you what to do and what not to do based on their own experiences. And it's like, no, you get to make your own experience, and there will be ups and there will be downs, but you don't have to create a narrative about yourself where you made the wrong choice, or you were silly and foolish and you just didn't know, and all these other people could have told you that this was the wrong path and you didn't listen. It's like, no, like, just because someone else had an experience doesn't mean you can't have a different one. And also, it doesn't mean that you can't handle the same experience differently than they did and make it mean something different to you. And, also, like, you can trust yourself in life and know that you don't need to beat yourself up for all the aspects of your experience that you didn't plan for, that you didn't know were coming. That's okay. And maybe there's some learning in there. Maybe there's something on that path that is actually, again, a gift for you, moving you in the direction of where you want to go. And you wouldn't have known that is the way you needed to go without, like, taking that first step and without experiencing this discomfort and moving through it. Yeah. I hope that resonates. I hope that is helpful for you. I'm going to, let's see, what question do we want to ask these Angel Answers cards for group 1? What question do we want to ask? I'm getting the sun will come out tomorrow from Annie. So that could be significant for some people here. I want to ask, will, I'm going to ask, will this discomfort be over soon? Okay. All right, so I was asking, will this discomfort be over soon? And I got helpful people. So I feel like there are definitely people who can help you on your path. There are people who can help you in your life. You are meant to reach out to someone. For some of you in particular, there might be some professionals who can be really helpful to you, like who are either in a similar field to you, if this is related to career or something that you want to do, for example, or maybe, again, if there's like any discomfort going on, like physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, like there might be professionals that you can reach out to again ease that discomfort, to help you, like, even if like sometimes your body has very physical reactions to change, right? And your mental health has very extreme reactions to change. Just because that might be like like part of the process doesn't mean you can't like ease that part of the process. So like there might be professionals who can help you manage that and help you ease that in any way, like, you know, whether it's a medical professional or like a spiritual healer or something like that. Like there are definitely people who are on your side who can, I feel like some of you are resistant to that because there's almost this notion of like, oh, I made a mistake, I don't deserve help. And it's like, first of all, you didn't make a mistake. You're just being really hard on yourself. And second of all, even if you did, like, you still deserve help. Like, get out of here with that. What are you talking about? Get yourself some help. Get yourself some, like, I'm getting like someone who like maybe like I don't know, hurt themselves while like trying to like change a light bulb, and they like need, like, I don't know, like they crick their neck or something, and they're like, oh, like I shouldn't have done that, I should have gotten a professional, or should have called someone else to help because I know I'm no good at that. I don't deserve to take a Tylenol to feel better. And it's like, no, take the Tylenol, just do it. Like, I don't, like, no, like, it's, don't punish yourself for that. That's what I'm feeling. And so yeah, there are people who can help you out. Be open to that. Be willing to accept help, and be willing to reach out. And then we have abundance on the bottom of the deck. So I feel like if, especially with the Four of Coins showing up, part of this message might be related to abundance for you. Especially if you're creating something that you're hoping to bring abundance with. That being on the bottom of the deck, excellent sign. So if you're looking for a sign that abundance is on the way, or that you're manifesting abundance into your life, take that as a positive, for sure. I feel like there is a lot also here for you to learn. And so you're being asked to acknowledge and accept the abundance of, also the abundance of like helpful people, the abundance of help that's available to you, and the abundance of what you will gain through this process, what you've already gained and what you will continue to gain through this change that you're going through. And I think that's it. So Group 1, I hope that this was helpful. I hope this resonated. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I would love to know in the comments how this resonated with you. And once again, you can check out the link in our description, sunflowerphilosophy.com, for personal readings and other services. And thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye! Hi, Group 2. If you chose the green die or dice with the sun on it, then you are in the right place, and this is your reading with a message that you need to hear right now. So we are going to flip over your Astro Oracle card and talk about some things that are coming through initially. Then we'll use tarot to get some more messages and elaborate, and then I'm going to close out by asking a question of the Angel Oracle card deck, Angel Answers deck, to just see what question based on the reading that we have comes up, and what the answer is. And that's how we're going to do it. So without further ado, let's flip over your Astro Oracle card and get right into it. So Group 2, you got Mars, number 22, with the keyword of motion. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, the number 2, 4, all could be significant numbers for you. And you are Group 2. So yeah, that seems significant for sure. And with Mars and motion and the sun. So first of all, there's like so much fiery energy here, right? Because like we have the sun, and then we have Mars, the planet that's associated with Aries, with war, just like very active. And it's funny because then we have the sun, which is a huge ball of fire, but it's also stationary. It radiates out. So, and also I feel like because the sun is, it's associated with like the self, the personality, the ego, and then Mars is associated with Aries, which is also kind of about the self and the personality. It's associated with the first house. I feel like, And that feels really significant. Maybe for some of you, you have the sun in Aries. Maybe you also have Mars in Aries. If you do, shout out, because that's me as well. And so that could really be significant for you. You could just have really significant Aries placements, or your Mars placement is really significant. Maybe you have the same Sun and Mars placement, and or your Sun placement is also being highlighted here. Things to keep in mind. But yeah, it feels like what you need to know right now is, like, I feel like you're on fire in a good way. Like, yeah, if you feel driven towards some kind of goal or to take some kind of action, you're definitely meant to. I feel this sense of like assertiveness, and it feels new. Like, it feels like even if you've always been a relatively assertive person in some way, I feel like you are finding your like voice, or finding your really, like, I don't know, masculine, active side even more. Like, you're embracing that on an even deeper level, and you're being called to take action right now. To take action based on your own wants and desires. And this is really big for anyone who has a history of potentially people pleasing, being really wrapped up in like other people's stuff and what other people want. This feels like you are taking action for you right now. You are taking action based on what you want. And because it's also the sun associated with Leo and everything, like, and the sun being this, you know, great ball of fiery gas that is the center of our solar system, but also like radiates its like heat and light out and gives our planet Earth life. You know, there's the sense that the actions that you're taking, even if they're like, you might feel like it's self-centered at first, it's based on your own wants and needs, and based on what, you know, is truly important to you. There's some impact of that radiates out and is actually helpful to others. It's like your self-empowerment, your ability to act on your own behalf is also either directly, because maybe your actions are directly related to helping others, or indirectly through example, through just like whatever you're creating or whatever you're doing, having a positive impact on people, like radiating out and having a real impact for the better on people. So you are really like, you're being called to act right now on your desires, on your plans, on your goals, on your own behalf. In a really, like, there's so much empowerment here. There's like so much fire. There's so much desire, I just heard. Yeah, so like, ooh, yeah, it feels really energetic. It feels really aligned. And I don't know if this is how you're feeling right now, or this is like almost like this message is meant to like light that fire under you and like help get you going in that direction, help you feel really strong and empowered in yourself, like to reinforce or enforce that kind of energy in you. So let's just jump right into the tarot cards and elaborate on this message, get more information about what you need to hear right now, group 2. So what does group 2 really need to hear right now? 6 of Wands. Okay, victory card. Hello. Yeah, this is... Oh, there's so much fire here. Okay. 2 of Wands. Oh my god, more fire. What else does group 2 need to hear right now? While I'm shuffling this, by the way, I just want to quickly say, I usually say it at the end, but I'm trying to say it in the middle now. We do offer personal readings on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com. So if you're interested in a personal tarot reading, you can check the link in the description. And also, my mom and I both work together, and we're both hypnotists, and my mom does human design readings. So you can also check out those services if you are interested in working one-on-one with either of us. But with that being said, let's continue getting cards for you, group 2. Justice. Interesting. Okay, and let's get one more for group 2. What does group 2 need to know right now? What does group 2... Oh, Page of Swords. Let me, like, upright or reverse? 2 of 3. All right, last one. Okay, I'm going to go with upright because it was kind of a little bit more upright. It feels like it doesn't matter so much for this one. And then the 8 of Coins is on the bottom of the deck again. That was on the bottom of the deck in the last group. Okay. So this could be, for some people, like you could have been drawn to both groups. There might be messages in both groups for you. Either way, just starting there, I just want to say that I feel like you have been working consistently or working hard on something for a while, and or you have the drive to it's so interesting because the Eight of Coins is like long, consistent, sustained, grounded work, and like Mars to me is much more like fiery, immediate, direct action, like strikes really quickly, not necessarily like continuous devotion and energy. And yet I feel like there's a sense that there has been a lot of sustained energy and work going on behind the scenes in some way, in some area of your life. And I feel like things are picking up now, and it's like you're being called to act faster, to act bolder, to act fiercer. Almost like something is like paying off, and you're either getting more energy. So like say the Eight of Coins is referencing like consistent effort that you've put into your health and work that you've been putting in specifically to your health. It's like Mars here is signifying like you're really entering this, like at first maybe you weren't seeing like immediate results, but like over time your consistent effort has contributed to you starting to really you're starting to really feel those effects and see those effects of like having more energy, feeling really healthy, really feeling like that consistent effort is paying off, and you're having that fire and drive like increasing within you. And it's like you have more like energy, like with the sun here, to like sustain like fiercer, bolder, faster, more direct action. Like you can do more, and you can maybe literally bench more, things like that. And you're like being called upon to like act on that energy, to like take that and run with it. Interesting. But it could be like, that's just one metaphor. It could be like sustained work on a project or a business or something where like it's getting momentum behind it, and like that momentum, like you've got energy now behind it, and you're meant to like act on it. And also I feel like it's speeding up, and like you are speeding up in how you do your process, and like you're seeing the sustained effort that you've put in, like again, like I'm getting like putting the reps that you've put in, like really like paying off in like how you move through the world, how you move through whatever it is that this is about, if you've got a specific thing that's coming up for you right now. And with the Six of Wands and the Two of Wands, like, okay, Six of Wands, first of all, that's the victory card. There's also a lot here, again, about, like, ego and self. So, and I feel like you need to have a strong ego and a strong sense of self to embody this Mars energy. And I feel like you actually are being encouraged to lean into that, like, to lean into like a bit of self-centeredness, but like again, not from a place of like, oh, I'm better than everyone, and like false ego, but like real like sustained self-worth and self-confidence, like in a way that again, like that radiate like true self-confidence that's not like kind of false and like built on this idea of like I have to be better than other people, but it's more built on this idea of like I know what I've got and I'm confident in it. Like that kind of self-confidence, like that radiates out, and it really empowers like everyone, you know, because people can see it and they can feel it, and it doesn't come from a place of looking down or competition really so much, like at least not in a mean-spirited way. And so like people can be really inspired by that, and I feel like you're being called to lean into that, especially if you have like if you have specific achievements that you've like experienced lately, like be proud of that. For some of you, be loud about it. You know, like you can talk about it, post it on social media, like be like, yeah, hey, I won this thing, I'm really excited about it, I'm really proud of that. Like lean into that, you know, especially if you've hesitated to do that in the past, you've been shy about it, you know, you're being called to put it out there, put yourself out there, be like, yeah, no, like I did this thing, I achieved this thing. But also this could be a sign for some of you that a victory is on the way, that you are becoming victorious at something, that you are doing really well. I feel like in general, this is just an encouragement that like whatever goals that you've had, that you've been working towards, especially like spiritually as well, you are doing really well. Like you're learning your lessons, you're doing the things that you are meant to do, like you're doing really well. And with the Two of Wands here, I'm getting like the creative fire. Like you are, act fast. I just got, because with Mars and the Two of Wands, and in the Two of Wands, I see this like this raven kind of pulling these wands out of the fire. And so it feels like you're acting fast to pull something, like an idea, out of your creative fire, to salvage that before it gets completely burned up by your passion, to like take that burning twig and like cultivate it in a more sustainable. And so it's almost like, okay, it's like if there's this like huge fire, and that's like your passion and all of your ideas, and your ideas keep throwing twigs of ideas into the fire, seeing which ones catch and which ones help sustain it. And then you see like a certain twig or two that like those are the ideas that catch the most fire, right? Then it's like you will kind of want to stop the fire from growing and spreading and completely devouring them before you get the chance to actually use them. So like you grab them out of the fire, and then you like, kind of you take them and you run with them. I don't know if this metaphor is really working. But the point is that it's like I feel like there's like a lot of energy, a lot of fire in you right now, maybe a lot of ideas and inspiration, and you're being called to pick out one or two and run with them and be that 8 of coins with them. And maybe you've already done that, and you've already like, and this is assuring you that like, yes, these ideas have potential. Yes, you can be very successful in executing these ideas. Just keep going. Just keep working. Use this momentum that you've built for yourself. And with Justice here, I feel like this is saying, like, you get out what you put in. And so, like, you reap what you sow, essentially. So if you've already been putting in that effort, putting in that work, putting in that passion and inspiration, you're going to get that back. It's only a matter of time. And if you haven't started yet, if you take your momentum and your passion, and you grab a twig out of the fire, and you start to work with that, and you start to hone it and use it, and you start to create a sustained practice around it, you will ultimately achieve what you want to achieve. You just need to get started. So yeah, either you've like already built up this like momentum of energy, and it's like growing and growing, and it's culminating, or you haven't started it yet, but you're like, you keep getting the impulse, or you feel like there's something that you're being drawn towards to take action on. It's like, yes, do it, but turn it into a sustained practice, right? Don't let it burn out. Right? Like with Mars motion, like, yes, let this like initial passion, initial spark drive you to action, but then build it up until it becomes like the sun, steady and always there and always giving off heat and light, right? Build it up into that kind of thing. Either you've been working on that and you've done that, or you're in the process of it, or you haven't started, but it has the potential to become that, like whatever it is that you're creating, whether it be like your own health and energy and vitality, like putting some time and effort into building that up and building a sustainable practice around it, or it's a creative project, or it's a business, or it's some other kind of practice or something that you want to do. Like, it has that potential to become that, like, not just like a wildfire or like a flaming arrow in the night. It has the potential to become this like sustained, like the sun, even though it is fiery, right? And it is like gaseous, and it does have like, like solar flares and things like that. Like, it's not, but it's also just like, it stays in one place. It is constant. It is consistent. It is always there. It is giving off heat and light always. And it's not going anywhere, at least not anytime soon, I hope. Like, right? Like, that's what you are turning into. That's what you are turning this project into. And again, like, you reap what you sow. What you put in is what you get out. So you can trust that. So, like, sometimes people might be hesitant to start something because you're just like, oh, I don't know if this is actually going to go anywhere. It's not going to be worth it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But no, you have to kind of go in with the mentality that it is worth it. It will be worth it. You will make it worth it. And you have to treat it like it is worth it in order for it to be worth it. You have to treat it like you reap what you sow. You put in what you get out. Like, you need to put in that energy, put in the trust, put in the faith, put in the care and time, and you will receive that trust, faith, care, time, and the results from that. not always linearly, not always exactly in the way you expect them to go, not always exactly as you want it to be, but it will happen. And with the Page of Swords here, well, okay, for some of you, this is literally about like writing or like the spoken word. And I am drawn to the fact that there's a feather on the Justice card and a feather on the Page of Swords. I'm also feeling like the power of the pen, like pen versus sword. I don't know, that's coming through right now. And so I feel like there could be something about using your voice in this process. There could be something about also the truth. I feel like Mars is very direct, and Aries can be very direct as a sign, as ruled by Mars. And so connecting that with this idea of like truth and justice, of finding the truth, you are being encouraged to be very honest with yourself. And in general, maybe, depending on the context of this for you, there might be an area of your life where you're being called upon to be more honest, more direct. You don't have to be blunt in the sense of, hurtful or tactless. You can be tactful, but also be very direct. You know what it is? Like, I feel like I'm getting this feeling with Mars of again, like action, fire, like a swift strike, right? With this sword, right? Like Mars, like striking really swiftly, but it's like also very contained and directed, and all of the energy in that like strike lands where it needs to go, right? There's no like wasted movement. It's like someone who's a very skilled swords person isn't going to have a lot of extra energy and movement going off in all different directions while they're like wildly swinging their sword. Like I'm getting someone who's very practiced, who uses their energy very responsibly and directly. And so, for example, when you're translating that to the idea of truth and honesty and communication with Justice and with the Page of Swords here, I'm seeing that as someone who is very direct with their language and words. So they don't, go around and around, like talk around the subject. They don't waste extra time and energy on extra words. They use the most precise language, and it packs a punch because it just hits at the heart of exactly what they're trying to say and what they're trying to get at. And now in order to do that, you might have to practice that. And with the Page of Swords here, that page is a beginner, right? And they are able to go out, and I also get the sense like sometimes someone who is younger and quote unquote more inexperienced or naive might also be better at being direct at times because they don't necessarily have the same kind of filter that other people might have developed depending on like what context we're talking about. But at the same time as well, there's this idea that you might want to speak the truth and be very direct and honest, but you might not always have a very finely honed idea of what your truth is and what your most honest action or words are. And you kind of have to go through that experience to find out what that is. So this is also saying that you might need to practice that, and you have to be okay with feeling like a bit of a beginner at that, and not always knowing what your truth is, but striving to and intending to connect with that, to connect with your honesty and your directness, so you're not wasting. And this is also when it comes to like taking actions, right? Being most honest with yourself about what you really want to do and what you really don't want to do, like tapping into, do I have energy for this or do I not? And then following that, listening to that, trusting that, right? Like when something is offered to you, when something comes up, do you deeply feel like, yeah, you know what, my energy I feel like I have energy for that, I want to move towards that? Or do you feel like, no, not so much? Like, cut to the chase, be honest and direct with yourself about what you truly want, and don't waste your energy running around doing things you don't want to do. Conserve it, because you are building something really important and special here. Again, whether that's like your own health, your own spiritual practice, your own creative project, whatever it is, don't waste your energy elsewhere. Tighten up. You might even need to tighten up like your schedule right now. And if you feel like you're a bit disorganized with your time, or you feel like you've got a lot of like engagements here and there, and you're kind of all over the place, like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, I could definitely see this kind of energy being someone who really wants to do everything, see everything, experience everything, but you don't have the energy necessary to, like, I don't know, do whatever it is that you're looking to create in your life and do every single thing. So you have to be a little bit more choosy. That means really, really connecting in every moment with, is this for me?
is this not? And trusting that, and not wasting energy overthinking it, and not wasting energy wondering, oh, did I miss out on this? Did I miss out on that? Don't waste your energy on activities or emotions or thoughts that do not construct the life or the thing that you are aiming for. Yes, this is about efficiency, using your energy efficiently, and knowing that if you're starting to overthink something or dwell on something that you said in the past or whatever, it doesn't matter if it was right, if it was wrong, if you should feel bad about it or not. Cut all of that out. That's wasted energy. Stop directing your energy at that. It's time to get really, really responsible with where you're putting your energy, and just simply ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now or thinking right now building the life that I want? And if the answer is no, cut it out. Don't cut that energy stream off. You're done. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I hope you like that too. This is like, this feels really good because you're gonna get really efficient. Like you're on a mission. I don't know what your mission is, but you are on a mission, and you are gonna get some shit done. So yeah, be responsible with your energy. Let's see. I tried to ask a question at the end of group 1, and like the answer I got wasn't necessarily directly, like, it made sense with the reading, but it wasn't necessarily like, I feel like it was almost like answering a different question. So I'm not even sure if I want to ask a specific question. You know what? If you want to ask a question, I hope group 1 doesn't mind if I change this up. If you want to ask a question, and they can go back and do that too. If anyone from group 1 is here, you can go back and do that with your group or with this group as well. You can hold it in your mind, and you can use the answer that comes out here to answer that question as well. Just, focus your energy, and again, only take it if it resonates. But, okay. I just got ask your angels. And I actually was going to ask the question, I was actually wondering, for this group, I feel like there is some spiritual support available to you, and I was going to ask, can this group, is there anything this group can call on, spiritual support for? And I feel like this is yes, you should essentially call on spiritual support. If there's a question, if you don't connect with the concept of angels, you can connect with anything, but asking the universe, or asking whatever your sense of a higher power is, asking spirit guides, or just sitting with yourself in a brief meditation and asking yourself, just putting the question out there, you'll get some kind of answer. If you find it difficult to hear answers within yourself, you can also journal it out. You will be surprised at what comes through. Just let yourself kind of stream of consciousness it. With the Page of Swords coming here, I feel like that could be really helpful, and it could be helpful in journaling could be really helpful for some of you when it comes to being responsible with your energy. If you've got a lot of mental chatter going on, it can help drain out some of that, get some of that out of your head, and so you can recognize oh, maybe this is worth puzzling out a bit, but this is totally not worth thinking about. Let's stop doing that. If you wake up every morning and you're grumbling about this person at work did this thing, and they're just and it's you find yourself constantly thinking about someone who annoys you, or you're constantly that's energy drain. You want to become aware of that, and you want to be able to get it out of your system and move on with your day, because you don't have time for that. You need to be storing your energy up. So yeah. So if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask your angels. Please, ask the universe. Keep asking, questions whenever they come to you. If you really need, reassurance or anything, just ask. Just ask. Just ask. And we have perfect timing on the bottom of the deck, so that feels significant. Especially for anyone who's waiting for, or who's not waiting. I don't feel like you guys are waiting around. I feel like you are actively pursuing something right now. But I feel like it's a reminder that the timing is at work here. And so if you're not 100% sure what action to take in any given moment, especially because this group, I feel like you are you're about action and movement right now. But if you're not sure what action to take in a certain moment, or you feel like something is not happening. Like I feel like there could be a lot of impatience here with the Mars energy, right? That just always keep in mind everything happens in perfect timing. So just allow for things to happen in perfect timing and trust that perfect timing might not be aligned with what you think or wish perfect timing was. So cultivating some patience can definitely be useful here. And with the Eight of Coins as well, like again, like either you've put in a lot of work, I feel like you have had a lot of patience throughout this process, or you are going to need patience in order to make this a sustainable, consistent practice. Again, like there's so much energy and fire and passion here, but you're being asked to channel it in a way that is responsible and sustainable. And understand that you are very powerful. You have a lot of energy. Like you have a lot of inspiration. You have a lot of creativity. You have a lot to give. You have a lot. You have a lot. A lot of power. Do not let that power be used by like anything that is not constructive and empowering for you. People, thoughts, like the news, do not let that take your power. You need every ounce of it, because with great power comes great responsibility. Use that shit responsibly, okay? Don't use it to doom scroll. I'm telling you. Get really clear with yourself about what is worthwhile and what is not. And ooh, I'm getting heated. I'm like the idea of like this energy being used, like being wasted and drained by people or things or like thoughts and energies that are just like, like destructive or like, I don't, boring, useless, makes me so angry. It's very Mars of me, very Aries of me. And I bet it makes you angry too, if you think about it. So, you know, use that, but turn that in a really positive, constructive direction and just keep moving forward. Like, keep going. Yeah. Yeah, and anytime you do feel bogged down, again, like, talk to your angels, ask your angels for help, and to help you keep moving forward, to help you leave behind things that are just not working for you, not helping you, that are draining your energy. Because, like, all that energy is yours, okay? And it's yours to be used however you see fit, all right? You are in charge here. I love it. Well, yeah, I think that's gotta be it for this group. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear how this resonated. I would love to hear like where this energy is going for you. Like where are you using your energy? You know, like what is this momentum moving you towards? If you know, leave a comment. Yeah, if you're interested in personal readings, check out sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description. Also Hypnosis and Human Design. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye! Hi Group 3, if you selected the pink dice and Aquarius, then you're in the right place, and this is your reading all about whatever you need to hear most right now. And so we're going to flip over this Astro Oracle card. We'll talk about that, and also Aquarius, why you got that on your dice, and get the ball rolling for this reading. Then I will get more messages from Tarot, and then I'll close by asking a question of the Angel Answers cards. I thought I was going to originally just like ask a question that came up as a result of the reading, but then like I feel like whatever answers I got were kind of answering different questions or whatever, so I don't know. We're going to get an Angel Answers card at the end, and we'll just see. We'll see what it says. Because they all made sense, but it wasn't necessarily how I was imagining it would go. But with that being said, let's just get right into it and flip over your card, Group 3. So you got Saturn, number 24, with the keyword of structure. Structure. Saturn and Aquarius. Okay, so I don't know if like in all astrology Aquarius and Saturn are associated, but I feel like there's at least some version of astrology where like Saturn, I don't know if it rules Aquarius or something like that. I know Aquarius is also associated with Uranus, but I'm pretty sure Saturn is also, I've definitely seen that before at least. So interesting. And there's definitely this like, I mean, Saturn is the planet of discipline. I feel like in the simplest terms, this group right now could benefit from some sort of structure or discipline. and some sort of like detachment as well. Like with Aquarius, I'm getting like being able to zoom out, see the bigger picture, and then create a structure, create a plan, to see something through, basically. Like, okay, like, you know, I'm getting like if something is happening in like a workplace and, you know, something goes wrong, right? There are some people who might panic. There are some people who might be like, we need to fix this immediately, you know, whatever. But I'm getting, and this might not be how other people would interpret this energy, but I'm almost getting like with Saturn and Aquarius together, like this person who remains calm, cool, and collected, and can kind of detach, like isn't panicking about the situation, isn't like getting caught up in like, you know, fear and everything, but is more like taking, and is not also getting caught up in urgency. Like this person to me is more concerned with, okay, no, let's take a step back and let's go through this step by step and let's look at the bigger picture of what happened here, what went wrong, why it went wrong, and let's actually create a plan that's not just going to fix this in this one instance, but is actually going to create a bigger change that is sustainable over time in this organization, right? Like, did this breakdown come from problems that existed before this even happened? And can we fix all of those and create a better structure and a better foundation for this to not happen again, basically? Like, that's what I'm feeling. And that, I feel like, is the vibe, is the energy that you are being encouraged to take on here. This could also in some way reference a person in your life, someone who's significant, who might embody this energy for you, whether they're someone you know or like someone who you know of, or even like a character in something that like maybe gives you this vibe that you can almost, I'm getting the word like siphon the energy off of, but I don't really mean it like that. I mean it like more like embody, like use as your muse, you know, to kind of create this energy for yourself. Very interesting. And also with 24 here, that could be a significant number. The year 2024 came through, so maybe that's a significant year. Perhaps you recently went through your Saturn return, which is notorious for sort of giving you a bit of a reality check when it comes to like things like discipline and growing up and being an adult. And your Saturn return happens usually around the ages for like between like 28 and 30, and like I think later on like around your like late 50s, early 60s, I think. So, you know, if you're in that age range, maybe that's happened for you recently, maybe you're going through that right now. So that could be worth looking into for you, seeing what that brought to your life and or could be bringing to your life now as a result of, you know, Saturn passing through the same place it was when you were born. That's essentially what your Saturn return is. Because it's like a growing up opportunity. So if you're like, whoa, things have recently gotten a little crazy for me, like I feel like, you know, I'm getting a little like reality check in terms of like I need to grow up a bit, that would make sense if you're in your Saturn return. So as they call it, I've heard astrologers say like, you know, Daddy Saturn is here to give you a little bit of that discipline, but it's not like in a bad, like it's not like to punish you. It's to like basically make sure that you are on the right track in your life, and that you are creating what you mean to create and want to create, and like you are ready for the next level, essentially. Like that's really what I feel like it is about. So yeah, there might be something in your life that is leveling up or is ready to level up, and for that you need like you need this like almost like bigger picture perspective, and you need to level up in like your discipline or your structure in some way. Okay, let's get more messages for group 3 then, pertaining to what they need to hear right now from the tarot. So let's see. And as I'm shuffling the cards, I just want to remind you that we do offer personal readings on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com. The link is in the description. I work with my mom, and she is, we're both certified consulting hypnotists, and she does human design. So if you're interested in that as well, that's also on our website. So you can check out that link. And yeah, that's it. All right, let's keep going. Oh, Page of Coins. That one popped out first, and I am definitely taking that for you guys. That makes so much sense. But let's see. What else does group 3 need to hear right now? What else does group 3 need to hear right now? Ooh, the Fool also came out in group 1. So maybe there's some messages in group 1 for you as well. What is group? Knight of Swords. Okay, and last but not least, Six of Swords. Interesting. Okay. There's some messages coming through from that are similar to like group 1, but also similar to group 2 in a way. And then 10 of Cups is on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so group 3. First of all, with Page of Coins popping out first, that makes so much sense because to me, this card is almost, at least in this context, I was immediately like, oh yes, you right now are being called upon to be the Page of Coins. And in this case, like, this is like a little sprout, a little seedling that's growing in a pot. So it's almost like you are, imagine like whatever it is, this could be about a specific project or thing in your life that you are looking on growing, or like a maybe that example about things coming up at work resonated with you or something like that. But like, it's like whatever you're growing into, whatever you're becoming, whatever you're focused on right now, you are called to be the Page of Coins to like really pay attention to the container in which you are growing whatever it is that you are creating. So it's like, make sure that you're using the right pot, right? Like if you were planting a plant, right? If you were planting a seed, ideally you want to know what kind of plant that you're planting and know what some of its needs might be. And understand as well that along the way as you're growing this plant, some of the things that you anticipate the needs to be might shift based on the individual like plant that's growing. You might realize, oh, well, like it's supposed to respond well to this, but it seems that this plant isn't. Like, let me figure out why that's happening. But you want to see if you can get the right kind of pot. Will it be big enough for it? Will it have the proper drainage? The soil that you're using, is that the right soil for this kind of plant? Is there better soil you can use? Is there any like fertilizer you can put in it? How often do you want to water it? Does it belong in sunlight or shade? All that. That is what goes into creating the proper structure and environment for this little seedling to grow in. And so that is your responsibility as the Page of Coins. You are creating, and I feel like for a lot of you, this will be like a new beginning or the beginning of the next level of a project, or like, you know, like with the Page of Coins here, maybe you sprouted this seedling in like a smaller container, and then you need to move it to a slightly bigger pot so it can grow bigger as it sprouts. It could be that sort of situation. But it does feel like there's something that is in its infancy or in a previous stage that is growing to a bigger stage, and you are creating the container, the proper container for that thing to grow in. And so, yes, you are like nurturing this little seedling, and you are being called to look into what it is exactly that needs to go into nurturing and growing this so it can grow even bigger. And that goes back to that example of like not just wanting to address like a problem as it arises in like a workspace, for example, but wanting to address any underlying things that led to that problem so that you can prevent that problem in the future and make your organization stronger and more solid. That's what we're doing right now, which is really interesting then when we come to the Fool also coming out here, because it's weird because, you know, we're creating structure. I feel like with Aquarius and Saturn, it's like Aquarius is very like about knowing things and knowledge and like I know what to do, and you know I learn all the things I need to know, and then I put them into action with Saturn here and create that structure. But with the Fool, it can actually have so I've seen some people associate the Fool with Aquarius energy, also Aries energy. So it's also reminding us, however, of the innovative nature of Aquarius, the innovative nature that it takes to grow something from its beginning. Like that mindset I said where like you know what you need to nurture something, like you do the research and you look into like the best, you know, soil to use and this and that, but you also pay attention in real time to what actually works and what doesn't, because it's possible that maybe like some information you got was incorrect, or there's something like really specific about your situation that like doesn't apply, or like, I don't know, maybe this seed is just like weirdly an exception to the rule, right? And, or maybe you come across in the process a new or better way to do things that no one else has already tried, right? So you are not just doing the research and going based on what is already known and proven. You are also innovating. So you have to be open to the possibilities. You have to be like this fool here, almost like you're educated enough, you're aware enough, you're knowledgeable enough, but you're not constrained by that knowledge. You're not too dialed in on what is already known. You are also creating like something new. You are open to things happening in a way they have not before. And that's also Aquarius. Like they have their eye on the future. They're inventive, they're innovative. There's a sense of uniqueness of doing things in a way that no one else has done them, doing things in a way because they know actually this is what's going to work. I don't need anyone else to tell me or validate me on that. And that is also where that matches also with Saturn, because I do feel like you in some way are taking charge of this. Like you are saying, you're stepping up and you're saying, okay, I'm in charge of this. I'm going to grow this. I'm going to create this. I'm going to make the decisions here. And I'm going to trust myself. And I'm going to be like the one who's leading this. Like I'm providing that structure. I'm deciding. And again, like you are educated and smart and knowledgeable about it, but you're also open-minded and you're also like, I'm willing to be innovative here. I'm willing to go off the beaten path. With the Knight of Swords, there's a potential harshness here. It's interesting because we were talking about like the direct approach and honesty and like truth in group 2. And I was talking about it in terms of like Aries energy, and like there's a directness and an innocence, and I don't think I said it exactly that way, but like just like being straightforward and honest. Whereas I feel like the Knight of Swords and Aquarius energy can be quite blunt. Or I feel like that's actually more Sagittarius. But regardless, there's a bluntness that can be almost like a little bit like cutting, a little bit painful. We see these scissors have like a little bit of blood on them. And I feel like sometimes that can be well received, sometimes it's not well received. In this case, I almost feel like that like directness, it's similar to what's coming through in group 2, but like it's a little bit harsher. But I feel like you kind of need this. Like you need the ability to cut away or cut through like any bullshit and like remove that from your path. And that could be related to, like, could be some of your own bullshit. It could be some of the stuff that like might come up like in self-sabotage and things like that to block your way. And you need to cut through that. But it could also, in your case, have to do with like other people and like red tape and things that exist sort of seemingly externally to you that could be in your way, where you just kind of cut through it, like. And it's a little, like, the vibe here with this Knight of Swords is a little violent, but it's also, like, very effective and direct and not overly concerned with, like, sparing people's feelings. And there's, like, a double-edged sword here, no pun intended, because I feel like there's, like, both the message that it's okay to be a bit, like, ruthless. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's okay to be a bit ruthless. And depending on your situation, that might be what's called for from you right now. Like, you might need to embody and embrace some ruthlessness at this moment, in some way, shape, or form, while you're creating this structure, while you're creating this path, like, almost like you're cutting through your own path, and, like, maybe there's some tough brambles and things, and you really need to be ruthless with cutting things out of your path. However, there's also the element of, I don't want to say it's a warning, but just, like, bringing your attention to this idea of, like, also treading with some care and with some caution and not leaning too far into ruthlessness, not leaning too far into, like you can be direct without, like, steamrolling, right? You can, like, cut straight to the point without, like cutting so deep that you, like, wound someone, metaphorically speaking. You can be loyal to your own project and your own energy and your own ideas without cutting someone else down in the process. And so I feel like there's a lot of, like, harshness in some of, like, there could be some harshness in this energy, I feel. And again, like, in your situation, like, that might be a bit warranted. But there's also this reminder that there's another way to go about it. You don't lean too far into it, right? Have some balance and be very, like, you will know what a situation calls for. If a situation calls for you to just be like, no, I gotta, like, cut this off, cut this down, like, cut this out, right? Like, if someone crosses you, like, if someone is, like, actively harming you or hindering you, or even unintentionally, like, you know, you still want to be, like, exacting with how you approach it and be like, no, like, even if you didn't intend that, like, I won't tolerate that. That's not going to work for us. Like, we cannot accept that behavior. You know what I mean? Like, you could still be very, you know, boundaried and honest about, this is what I'll tolerate and this is what I won't. But it's how you go about it that you might want to pay attention to. And some situations might call for a harsher approach, and some situations might call for, again, a direct and firm, but gentler approach. And it's really up to you to determine what a certain situation calls for. Now, with the Six of Swords here, I do feel like the ultimate goal, it's like you don't want to lose sight. You want to keep in your mind's eye your ultimate goal, right? Your bigger picture. So I feel like this goes along with this Knight of Swords here of, like, you have to do what's necessary. Don't get carried away with it, right? Keep in mind that your ultimate goal is to move whatever this project forward, or move your life forward in a positive direction, whatever that is for you, right? Keep your ultimate, like, goal in mind, right? Don't get caught up in, like, being ruthless just for the sake of it. Make sure that your actions and your words and everything that you're doing is directed at the goal that is ultimately positive, at the goal that is ultimately improving something for you, improving an area of your life, or improving a workplace, improving a business, improving a project, improving a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, remember that your ultimate goal is to move things in a positive direction, to move things to a better place, to get to a better place, to get to a better situation. And so, yeah, like, there's always the possibility of, like, doing things, like, quote unquote, for the greater good, but then end up becoming, like, the bad, right? And you want to move with purpose and with precision, and not have extra casualties happen along the way, right? You don't want to get caught up in, like, you know, creating discipline and structure and being harsh just for the sake of it, right? Like, think of the difference between, like, a boss that, like, think of a difference between someone who's, like, a boss, and they think, oh, a boss needs to be really harsh and stern and, like discipline their employees and things like that, and they just think, okay, that's the persona that I have to have as a boss, as opposed to the boss who is like, okay, I want to improve this department, I want everything functioning as optimally as possible, and I want everyone here to exist in this environment comfortably and to be able to do their job to the best of their ability, and I have, like, this higher vision of how I want that to go, and so I'm going to lean into that. And that, like, that boss might know that in order to do that, there's certain situations where there's behaviors they can't tolerate, where there's times when they have to be the disciplinarian, and they also know that there's times when, like, it's actually more efficient to, you know, maybe give an employee, like, yeah, you need some time off, you need to take care of yourself. Like, someone can only work efficiently if they have, like, adequate rest and, like, sustenance and everything. And, like, how can we make this more comfortable for people? Like, happy employees are better employees, like, that kind of thing. Like, someone who can see the value in, for example, like, a really positive and energetic, like, workplace environment that is really, like, that embraces, you know, some lightheartedness and things like that. Like, someone who has a bigger picture view of, like, the environment they want to create, the situation they want to create, as opposed to someone who's just caught up in, oh, like, well, this is just who a boss is, so I'm just going to be that, like, right? They don't have, like, a vision that's related to the specific environment that they're in, the specific people they're working with, and a specific goal that they're working towards. You know, they just are trying to be a boss, as opposed to being an innovator, being someone who makes a difference, being someone who has a vision that they want to execute on, and taking into account all the different perspectives and views that come along with that, and working in a way that is ultimately working towards, like, that better vision, right? And, you know, I mean, I guess that could come in all shapes and sizes and forms and things like that, and it might not be easy. Like, with the Ten of Cups here, I feel like the Ten of Cups is kind of like that ultimate happy ending card, but it's like the Ten of Cups isn't a constant state, but it is like a future vision to work towards. It's like you have this idea of, like, oh, I want this project or this workplace or this thing to feel this way, like, on a regular basis or as much as possible, or when we achieve this goal, it's going to feel like this. And you have this feeling in mind of, like, I want everyone to feel supported here. I want everyone to feel like they can work efficiently here. I want the overall vibes to be really positive here. And then you, like, work towards that vision. And that also includes, like, being really successful and, like, having, like not only, like, a good workplace environment, but also, like, a successful business. Like, having all of that all together. And it's like, yeah, you are a visionary. You're meant to hold that vision, that ultimate happiness, that ultimate contentment, and know that you're not going to be there all the time. And not everyone's always going to be on board with that vision or see where you're going with it, or even, like, feel that all the time. And that's okay. But as long as you hold that in your mind, you're not going to get so caught up in, like, oh, you're not going to get caught up in, like, the more negative aspects of, like, discipline or structure that you're trying to provide. You're not going to, like, go crazy with power or whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm getting the sense here that some people might be, especially if you're stepping into a leadership role, or you're taking a more direct approach in some area of your life, you might not be used to it, and you might be nervous that you're going to get caught up in, like, more, like, get caught up in, like you're not going to see the forest for the trees, you know? You're going to, like, get really caught up in, like, the details, and you're going to get too caught up in just, like, the day-to-day as opposed to the future vision. And you're being called to, again, like, you're creating a structure here. You're creating something that is meant to sustain, like, a long-term goal, or, like, sustain long-term happiness, sustain long-term success, you know? And so you always want to keep that vision in mind and act in a way that you know will support that vision, whether that calls you to act in a little bit more of a harsh, disciplinary way, or that calls you to act in a bit more of a relaxed and easygoing way. Yes, yeah, and have that balance. And that's where I feel like the number 6 comes in, just with 24, that simplifies to 6 in numerology, and to me that's, like, it's a very balanced number. It reminds me of the 6 of Pentacles, you know, that give and take, and I feel like that's what you're establishing here, right? You're creating a structure, but not just for the sake of being structured and being harsh and being hard and being too strict and too inflexible. You're creating a balance between structure and flexibility in some area of your life that is providing the perfect environment in which something can grow and simultaneously have, like, it's like if you're raising children, right? You want children to feel like they have, like, a strong foundation of a family, right? And there's that balance between being sometimes, in some ways, maybe a little bit strict and direct and firm with your kids, but also being flexible and understanding that they are learning and growing as human beings, and that they are going to have all different kinds of personalities, and so not being over controlling, you know, having some semblance of a structure and foundation for them to work with and work within and grow within, and providing limitations that you feel will help them feel safe and contained as they grow, and give them a solid grounding of, like, values to work with and work off of, and then also allowing them room and space to grow bigger, to expand outside of that structure, and to grow that structure with them, and to recognize that at different levels and different layers of development, they're going to need different things, and you're going to have to grow and expand with that, and so will the structure that you're providing for them. And that at some point also they'll need to grow up and learn to be their own structure, and can you give them the tools to do that, right? And so it's like, I feel like that's what you're doing with your life in some way, with whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that this message resonates with for you specifically. Like, again, like, your ultimate vision is the ultimate well-being of yourself, of this project, of this team, of this business, of your children, whatever it is. Like, that's your ultimate vision, your ultimate goal. And when you act in service of that, you will be acting rightly, and it will allow you to, again, either provide like discipline or provide flexibility or whatever it is that is really called for in that moment, as long as it aligns with that vision. Whoa. Whoa. These messages today have been like kind of a lot, but I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Really interesting. I hope that makes sense and resonates. I'm going to close this out now. I said I was going to ask a question, but I feel like every time I've gotten to that part, I haven't really been sure exactly. Like, the first group, I think I asked a question directly. The second group, I was kind of like, you ask the question. And whatever the cards come up with will be an answer, but also will relate in some other way to the reading. And I feel like that's just how we're going to do that. Like, that's me providing a structure to the reading and then deciding I'm going to be flexible with that structure. You know what I'm saying? I'm demonstrating for you what exactly this reading is talking about. So feel free to hold the question in your mind if you have a specific question you want to ask, and you can, if it resonates, allow this card to be the answer to that question. I'm also going to set the intention that whatever comes up in this card will provide any closing context to this message that we need. So, Angel Answers cards provide whatever closing message we need for group. Okay, there's 2 cards. We'll take those. Get more information and no need to worry. I like that. Okay, so obviously, oh, and the bottom of the deck has recovery on it. So that, all right, we'll get to that in a second. So get more information. First of all, if you asked a question, take these answers as they apply to your question. But yeah, get more information. Make sense with what I was saying. What I was saying in the beginning about the Page of Coins, right? Researching, well, what kind of soil you need the plant to grow in, what kind of pot is best, things like that. So whatever you're looking to impose more structure in your life, like, researching and looking into what other people have done is going to help you. It's very like, yeah, what I'm feeling is get more information and then use that information in the way that you see fit. Innovate on that, iterate on it, right? Take in what other people have done and take the tidbits. Like don't just go to one source. Like, say you're starting a business. Don't just go to one article on how to start a business and like just only look at that article and take only that information. Like, read some articles, watch some videos, look at different people in the field that you're going into that have all their different perspectives. Take some notes and circle what resonates most with you, what sticks out most to you, what aligns most with you, and pick a few things to focus on to get started. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this Get More Information card. Of course, if this answers a specific question for you, also take any messages you got with that resonate with you. But that's the kind of idea that I'm getting. Like, get more information, do your research. Don't be afraid to admit that you don't know something. Get more knowledge on it, and then experiment with it. And then take from that what makes the most sense to you and put that together for yourself into a plan that aligns most with your goals and your life. And then with no need to worry, this is, again, like, that balance between doing that research and also not stressing too much about it. Like, not feeling like, oh my God, like, there's a specific answer. I need to find, like, what's the best way, what's the right way, and being stressed about, did I get the right information? Is this really what I need to do? Like, don't stress about it, right? Get more information, do some research, trust that you'll come across things that will help you, and then also just get started. Just experiment, just do it, just be flexible with it, just grow with it, just know that if something doesn't quite work, you can always adjust, you can always make changes. Again, there's that innovator, that inventor of the Aquarius energy. relax with it. Again, that detachment, right? If something doesn't go quite right, okay, interesting that didn't work the way that we wanted it to. How can we adjust? What adjustments do we need to make? A little bit of like a scientist energy here, right? And also just in general, like if there's anything that's on your mind, anything that's weighing on you, your angels, the angel cards are telling you, you can relax. You don't need to worry about it. Don't dwell on it, right? Don't get too caught up in trying to figure things out. If something's not working, take a step back and just release it for a second. And recovery as well here. Specific message for some of you, recovery might actually be like one of the, like, part of why you are needing more discipline or structure in your life is you might be going through a period of recovery from something like burnout or even like a surgery, specifically like some kind of ailment you might be recovering from. And this is saying that like a specific kind of routine or like a more efficient way of working or of moving through your day is going to help you in your recovery. Like maybe you need to create a bit of a system for yourself right now to aid in some kind of recovery. And so that is just confirming that that's what this is referring to. But also this is reminding you that, because it seems like there's a lot of hard workers in this group with big dreams and goals and ideals. And this is reminding you to build in recovery time into whatever plan that you're creating, whatever discipline that you're creating for yourself. You know, build in that relaxation time, build in that time to just disconnect, build in that time to have fun and relax. And yeah, I feel like there's like, yeah, again, big visions here, ambition here, but you need your rest time, you need your recovery time. And so make that part of your plan, make that part of your structure. Be disciplined in how you go about like having fun time for yourself, having just like off time for yourself. That's part of your plan. That's part of discipline, is also being disciplined with, no, this time is just for me now, and I'm going to disconnect now, right? That's part of my work. That's part of my vision, and I'm going to maintain that. And yeah, like not constantly be nose to the grindstone. Again, like if this has to do with like a workplace, you are building in like, yes, I'm working, I'm focused, I'm working, I'm putting in the hours, but I also know that my body, my mind, and this business need me to put in the hours of rest as well. And so I'm making time for that. And that's part of my plan. And that's very important, especially if you have a vision that includes like some kind of personal happiness. If this is also about like your personal, I mean, I feel like that would be wise no matter what your vision is, like, but you know, it's just me. Building, you know, something that will contribute to personal happiness, like, feels important. But, you know, like if you want to create like a world where things are more joyful and relaxed and content, you have to create that in your own world as well. So like, remember that that's part of your vision. You don't just have to be nose to the grindstone the whole time. You don't have to be like constantly like striving. You have to build in that joy and relaxation, because that's what you want to create more of, right? And so be disciplined about that as well. Make sure you're prioritizing that happiness, that relaxation, that recovery time. Okay, group 3. That's all I have for you today. So I hope that resonated. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested, once again, please like, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear how that resonated. Did I already say that? It's been a long week. Anyway, yeah, if you're interested in personal readings, as I mentioned on our website, you can get that information also for our other services as well. Links in the description. And thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye!